We've been telling young people, go to school, get educated, then you get a good job, you'll be empowered. But in most of our countries, the people who are living the best lives have no education. The people who are driving the best cars, no education. We have political cadres now occupying significant positions in government because they are loyal. Some of them are fantastically incompetent, but they are wonderful people. Unfortunately, wonderfulness does not cure the underdevelopment challenge. We have equated having things with being, so that those who have things are considered more human beings.
There's a new force of nature at hand, stirring all over the world. They are the young people whom, frankly, we have failed, who are angry, who are organized, who are capable of making a difference. They are a moral army. And the most important thing that we can do for them is to get the hell out of their way.
Sisi vile vile sio wote ambao wanataka ugomvi kwa sababu ya ugomvi.
Niwaambia nyinyi ni wajinga mkimpata Ruto. Mkadhani tunawadanganya.
Jeti ya Ruto. Hii maisha ya Ruto ni stress na ni stress.
Mungu, wewe umetukosea.
Front. Well, a lot is taking place so fast in our country and, of course, our political landscape that everyone must work hard to stay on the cutting edge. There was in the last strong political party, ODM, seem not to be coming to an end. The more there is an attempt to reconcile and forge a single unified front, it's collapsing with every passing day. And in this particular episode, we'll be tracing what are some of the things that are overlooked that may be contributing to this endless push and pull within the Orange Party. Today, the daughter of the yes, and they went there to, of course, in memory of Winnie Odinga, and of course, comfort the people, and of course, lead them into kind of closure from the Raila-led changes within the country and the county, of course, Kibra constituency. And remember that not many days ago, there was the ODM rally in Kamkunji, Kebra, led by Oburu Odinga. And the rally wasn't so much impressive in terms of the ODM rally that we know it. ODM is known for having organic force that is fanatical, and people are outgoing in terms of expressing themselves and, of course, showing their love for Raila Odinga and, of course, the Orange Party. But we saw a lot of mechanical, enthusiasm in the crowd, as well as the leaders. And then the Oburu rally was chaotic. The Dias was full of people. There was all manner of push and pull. And then, of course, days later, we see Winnie and Junior and the immediate family of Raila Odinga going to condole with the people of Kibra, had a successful rally in that was majorly organic and full of life. And then, of course, there was that part that the locals were given opportunity to air what they feel about the another tone of youthful leaders kind of being frustrated by the old guards. And that is our politics. And we will need to come to where is the problem. Where is the problem? Are the old guards intentionally and deliberately frustrating the youthful leaders in ODM, or it is just a phase that the ODM party needs to go through having lost their leader? What is this that is going on within the Orange Party? Then I'm bringing this up because today Oburu Odinga and the ODM brigade were in Kakamega, and we had two factions of ODM in Kakamega, one in Butere, then another one in Kakamega town, one led by Baraza, the governor of Kakamega, then the other one led by the women rep and, of course, Oparanya and team. And so it appears that the Orange Party is dynamic and they have not settled yet, especially after the demise of Raila Odinga. So what is the way forward? How do we deal with this conclusively in order to save the Orange Party? Now, while this is going on, William Ruto is out there calling that he believes in posterity and he wants strong political parties. And he wants UDA to be a strong party that would outlive him, and the whatever policies and the visions and the projections that he has needs to go beyond him and things like that. Now, that to me is very suspect, because if there is the architect of destroying political parties and causing inward wars in political parties, the architect of all this, the deployer of machinery in weakening political parties, is William Ruto. So when does William Ruto believe in strong political parties, and when does he want weak political parties so that he can compete against them? Does he build with one hand and destroy, or which is which? That is another debate we'll look at in the course of this broadcast. If you're able to get us, thank you so much for choosing to be part of the conversation. And we really call you, please share the live with as many as you can, so that we break down these issues together, and then, of course, learn one thing or another from each other. Appreciate every one of you for always being here, and apologies, we have not been able to be here every day as usual. There are some challenges we are dealing with, and we hope to settle down sooner than later. But for now, let's look into what went down in Kibra, and na maoni yako na tarajia kwa maoni yako tu, ODM ipewe vijana ama iendelee kuwa na wazee, na hawa wazee tutasaidia vipi? Ni kipi hiki ambacho kinawasumbua na uongozi wa vijana? Na si kwa sababu ya kusupport vijana tu, nataka tuangalie hii kwa uwazi na kutodanganyana, ili tuelewane vizuri kwamba kama ni uongozi lazima kuwe na ile haki na kuwe na ile uadilifu, na kama wazazi lazima tuwe na ile nafasi ya kuhakikisha kwamba watoto tunawaongoza katika uongozi, wala hatuwazuii kuhusika katika masuala ya uongozi kwa sababu hao ni vijana. We must facilitate them into leadership other than hindering them and frustrating them in the name that they cannot lead. Let's listen out to what went down in Kibra, talk about this.
Mtazamaji, tofauti katika chama cha ODM zimeendelea huku sasa wanawe marehemu kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga wakiwasuta wale wanaosema wameteka chama hicho. Na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga na nduguye Junior Odinga sasa wakisema watababaishwa kutoa misimamo yao, wakisema wataongoza juhudi za kukomboa chama kutoka kwa wale wanaosema wamekiteka nyara. Na wawili hao walihudhuria ibada na kushiriki mkutano wa kisiasa eneo la Kibra, kama Seth Olale anavyoarifu.
Akihudhuria uzunduzi wa kundi la vijana katika uwanja wa Kamukunji, eneo bunge la Kibra, Nairobi, mwanawe marehemu Raila na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga alionekana kujitosa mzima kwenye mdahalo wa mustakabali wa chama cha ODM. Winnie akionekana kuwarushia makombora walioonya kuhusu mkutano eneo hilo.
Sikia, kuna watu wengine walisema hatuwezi kuja hapa. Hao ni akina nani? Waeleze nimerudi nyumbani, nimefika kwa bedroom na hata saizi natoa viatu.
Akiambatana na nduguye Junior Odinga, Winnie alipuzilia mbali wito wa kutaka baadhi ya wanachama kuondoka kwenye chama hicho kutokana na msimamo wao kuhusu ushirikiano wa ODM na UDA.
Hakuna siku baba aliwahi
sorry, we seem to have issues with that. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies. We seem to have a mix-up with that video. Let's see what to do to ensure that it plays seamlessly. But thank you for joining. Please hakikisha unakaribisha mtu, maoni yako tu yasikie ama tuyaone hapo kwa comments kuhusu masuala yanayowatokota katika ODM. Hivi leo kukawa na ile familia ya marehemu Raila Odinga wakiwa Kibra kuwafariji wale ambao wamekuwa wafuasi wa Raila Odinga wa miaka na mikaka. Na mambo ya ODM ikawa mstari wa mbele haswa kwa masuala ya uongozi. Let's see what went down.
Mtazamaji, tofauti katika chama cha ODM zimeendelea huku sasa wanawe marehemu kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga wakiwasuta wale wanaosema wameteka chama hicho. Na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga na nduguye Junior Odinga sasa wakisema watababaishwa kutoa misimamo yao, wakisema wataongoza juhudi za kukomboa chama kutoka kwa wale wanaosema wamekiteka nyara. Na wawili hao walihudhuria ibada na kushiriki mkutano wa kisiasa eneo la Kibra, kama Seth Olale anavyoarifu.
Akihudhuria uzinduzi wa kundi la vijana katika uwanja wa Kamukunji, eneo bunge la Kibra, Nairobi, mwanawe marehemu Raila na mbunge wa Iala Winnie Odinga alionekana kujitosa mzima mzima kwenye mdahalo wa mustakabali wa chama cha ODM. Winnie akionekana kuwarushia makombora walioonya kuhusu mkutano eneo hilo.
Sikia, kuna watu wengine walisema hatuwezi kuja hapa. Hao ni akina nani? Ha? Waeleze nimerudi nyumbani, nimefika kwa bedroom na hata saizi natoa viatu.
Akiambatana na nduguye Junior Odinga, Winnie alipuzilia mbali wito wa kutaka baadhi ya wanachama kuondoka kwenye chama hicho kutokana na msimamo wao kuhusu ushirikiano wa ODM na UDA.
Hakuna siku.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying tuned. We still have got hiccups with that particular video, but this is what we need to get clearly. That is, there is a disconnect. There is a disconnect between the current ODM leadership and the immediate family of Raila Odinga in how they are handling the Raila Odinga political party. And it's clear that from what Winnie is saying, and of course Junior, and the discord of the young people, especially in Kibra, it's clear that it appears that ODM has been taken advantage by the so-called current leaders, and the way they are running the party is not the way Raila Odinga intended for the party to be led. And it is almost clear to every looking eye that the actions being undertaken, especially by Oburu Odinga-led ODM, are not clearly his. He seems to be acting on instructions. And these instructions are not coming from the ODM members, are not coming from the ODM leadership. It appears that the political class, the top leadership of the ODM party is under pressure to get certain decisions taken without proper following of laid down rules. One of the tradition or the culture established by Raila Odinga is that no major decisions were ever taken in ODM without Raila going around the country and feeling the people and establishing where the hearts and the desires of the people are. And it appears that after his demise and the controversial installing of Oburu Odinga as party leader, there is a departure from that, whereby serious major decisions are being taken that affect the party without the input of the party members and the stakeholders. And this is where the whole push and pull is lying. And if we can look back into what happened until Oburu Odinga became the party leader of ODM, is, in my opinion, it has remained strange. Okay, it has remained strange on the hurried way of getting Oburu Odinga being whatever declared as party leader, and then of course within no time he's ratified as now qualified party leader without consultation with the stakeholders who are the majority members of the party. And it appears that there is a strange force outside of ODM that is manipulating and puppeteering events and actions within the ODM party. And one of the senior analysts, political analysts on YouTube channel, gave a an observation which I kind of share, and that is the people that appointed Oburu Odinga as party leader, the person that pushed and ensured that Oburu Odinga is made ODM party leader. It wasn't ODM, it wasn't ODM NEC, it wasn't ODM leadership structure. It was actually William Ruto. And this happened so abruptly in the sense that we get the news of Raila Odinga's demise in India in the morning, okay? And by 2 p.m. or before, even Raila's body is ferried back in the country, Oburu Odinga is being fronted as party leader. And then from there, now we are in the midst of what? The shock of the sudden passing on of Raila Odinga. And nothing, the whole country is, thrown into shock, confusion, and all that. In the midst of that confusion, somebody calls a press conference and flags whatever presentation, and Oburu Odinga, who is the chairman of the funeral committee, is now fronted as now the current party leader, and that scenario doesn't look good, and it doesn't even look African. It doesn't look African. The best way for me to define that, I know that is maybe it may sound very extreme, but it appears to me like in a home, a polygamous home, where you hear your brother is dead, and you begin to move your things into his bedroom. You want to inherit the wife even before his body is ferried home for burial. Now, that to me is very suspect. And therefore, what is ailing the ODM party right now may not necessarily be the demise of Raila Odinga or the top brass leadership. There is some external influence in the Orange Party that is messing up the usual operations of the ODM party. And if care is not taken, this giant party may just be laid to rest. And that to me would be a big blow. One, to the legacy of Raila Odinga, and two, to the hopes and aspirations of the majority of Kenyans that have believed in this political party for 20 years, hoping to be put it in power and, of course, watch their life transform by the promises and the leadership of the Orange Party. And so in my calculations and observation, something drastic need to take place to salvage the ODM party. And all those people in leadership or purporting to be the bona fide leaders of the ODM party, they must ensure that they are doing the right thing. And doing the right thing means letting the people decide who is the leader of the Orange Party, not them to self-appoint and then self-declare and then force the people to agree with whoever they have appointed, and of course demand that everybody should align with the current leadership. In my opinion, that is the surest way of creating, or rather causing, anarchy, and of course making the well-built and well-established, long-serving political party become a shadow of its past. In my opinion, that should not be let to happen. And so as we look into this particular conversation, we must, as a people, do the right thing. And the right thing means tell the ODM brigade the right information, okay? The right information, meaning the Oburu-led ODM, or rather team, needs to listen to the people, And then, of course, they should hurry up and call for that NDC and let the people decide who leads them, not them to impose themselves on the people and demand that they should be respected. That one, I am not in agreement, and it will just create, or rather it will result into more disaster, and then of course disadvantage to the ODM party. One things that also confirms that the Oburu-led team is under siege. The Oburu-led team is not functioning according to the laid down operations of the ODM party, is the way they are getting ahead of themselves. Remember, there was the working relationship between the ODM party and the UDA party was based on what? There were the 10 points agenda that was agreed upon in that MOU. And the support for working together after 2027 was pegged on this 10 points agenda. And according to the schedule that Baba had given before passing on, was that in March of this year, 2026, there will be an evaluation to check how many of these 10 points agenda have been fulfilled, has UDA fulfilled their part, so that ODM can commit to support. Now, that is where the evaluation is supposed to take place. But look at what is happening with the Oburu-led team. They are not talking about the 10 points agenda. They quickly call for a neck in Kilifi, and then the neck in Kilifi, instead of it arranging when will we put up the committee to analyze and evaluate the 10 points agenda, they come up with another committee that they are authorizing Oburu Odinga to begin negotiation with other political parties so that they can merge in 2027. And the first political party is UDA. So the working relationship between ODM and UDA was conditional. Conditional on what? 10-point agenda. So if the 10 points agenda are not fulfilled, there is no obligation on ODM to support UDA. Now, the moment the 10 points agenda are thrown away, there is no relationship between these two political parties. There is no support for ODM or whatever the reason for ODM agreeing to hold UDA's hand so that they can stabilize the politics and, of course, the nation as a whole, was the 10 points agenda. Why is Oburu not talking about the 10 points agenda? Why is Wanga not talking about the 10 points agenda? Why is Abdul or whatever, Suamad, the governor of Mombasa, not talking about the 10 points agenda? Why is Arati not considering the agenda? It simply means they are acting on instructions, and those instructions are not pegged on the agreement signed by Raila Odinga. And that is why the young Turks in the ODM party are looking into this and seeing there is a strange hand in the party that is destroying the party. And that's why people like Sifuna, Babu Wino, or Hamisi, and of course, Winnie Odinga are smelling a rat. What is going on in the party without them, without consultation, without bringing together the party? And usually what happens even in a home, when a father dies, you don't begin to share the estate and share the goods and share what is left behind. First and foremost, there is the calling of the family meeting. And then there is the, reassuring each and every family member that although the old man is gone, we are going to go forward in this way. And everybody's voice is heard in the family so that they agree going forward will now be led by our first brother. And our first brother will be in charge of this and that and that. You don't just come and say you are now in charge and everybody should listen to you. That is the beginning of the disintegration of that particular family. So the ODM family, after the demise of Raila Odinga, needed to have a NDC. Yes, National Delegates Conference, so that what? The delegates from all corners of this country where the ODM party is represented will air out their voices, like what Winnie Odinga conducted today in Kibra. Let the young speak out, speak their hearts, speak their voice. Then from there, you take a conclusion. But what is going on with the Oburu-led faction is strange by all. The only thing that looks like ODM is their orange dress, their orange attires. But what they are saying and what they are advocating for doesn't sound like ODM, doesn't look like ODM, doesn't smell like ODM, and it looks more like UDA than ODM. So the question is ODM subjecting herself to be a branch of UDA? That's what we are asking, because ODM has an identity. ODM has an essence that makes it ODM, and one of it is her stand with Wananchi. Whatever ails Wananchi, ODM was on the forefront in ensuring that Wananchi wali. By the way, is it not strange that Oburu has not said anything about the examination results, has not said anything about the parents not being able to take their students to school, despite the fact that the due date for children to report to school has come? Is busy crafting a committee to go and discuss agreement between ODM and UDA, and not talking about what is generally happening in the country as far as ailing the public is concerned. And that is why we're saying that faction is suspect and it needs to be kept where it belongs. And that is, they need to find their footing, not to continue from where Raila left. Yes, in fact, the greatest mistake is continuing from where Raila left. Every one of the successive leadership, each leadership needs to find their footing. And that's why I like about what Winnie and team did today. Find your own footing. Don't come with copy paste and say Raila used to do this. Raila used to do this, so we are doing this. No, you must find your own thing. You must find your own starting point. So the best thing for Buru to do as a senior citizen and as the head of the family is to call the family meeting. Call the family meeting. Let family members express themselves. Let them get a closure from their late father, and then of course now chart the way forward. But continue from where he left and disregarding the undertones and the dissatisfaction and the wherever the discomfort among other members of that particular family is wrecking the family. And of course, you only be left to regret for failing to listen to what the members of the family are saying. And so no matter what Oburu does and team, Veng will have an NDC, and that NDC is going to shock the country because of the decisions that may come from the same. And then, of course, looking at the whole hijacked ODM that is acting under instruction, we may also be afraid of the NDC because looking at who is interested in ODM and support for ODM and his character of infiltrating political parties and wrecking them from within, setting party members against each other, party leaders against each other, and eventually pass between them. The William Ruto influence in the ODM party is not intended for any good, but all evil. And that is why it needs to be resisted. It needs to be fished out. Yes, it's like what is it called? The the fox, okay, has found itself in the midst of the sheep, okay, and that fox staying in the midst of the sheep is for the detriment of the sheep. It doesn't matter how nice it appears and how friendly it appears, it will eventually turn against the sheep. And that is why it must be located and be fished out of the fish, of the sheep, so that the sheep can be safe. The external influence within the decisions being made by the Orange Party must be resisted. William Ruto cannot all of a sudden become a very important part of the ODM party when he has been away for almost how many years? From 2007 to date. We're talking of over 10 years he has been away. And in those over 10 years, he has been in 3 different political parties. So while ODM was going on, uninterrupted, ODM was going on, William Ruto was changing from URP, from UDM to URP, from URP to TNA, from TNA to now UDA. So if somebody has not been able to sustain his political stand and, of course, kept one political party long enough for us to know which political party he belongs to, he cannot all of a sudden become now the supreme decision maker in a party that has been in existence without his input for ages. So if there is any wisdom in Oburu, Wanga, Junet, and team, let that wisdom make them suspect the all of a sudden interest of the William Ruto UDA team in the decisions and in the running of the affairs of the ODM, whatever party. And that's why I even find it strange, like today, the ODM was doing what they are calling Linda Ground in Kakamega. And you will see among the people in the ODM for wherever meeting is UDA representatives. What are UDA representatives doing in an ODM meeting when the ODM meeting is supposed to go and protect Kakamega from being invaded by UDA? It doesn't look like ODM is free to do what it does. There is somebody who doesn't want this party to function as should be, and is not comfortable when the party is not, when the party is making decisions without their input and without their involvement. And so the puppeteering of the Orange Party through the Oburu-led team must be stopped. And that's why we're demanding the NDC to come quickly so that we do away with the wrong leadership, install the right leadership, and let the party be revamped, ready for the 2027 elections. Thank you for those who are joining. Your opinion is invited. You can add a comment in the comment section or join me in the show and let's discuss this moja kwa moja. Na washukuru wote kwa kuwa waaminifu katika kufuata kipindi na kuchangia kwa njia moja au nyingine. Naomba tujaribu hii video tena tuone kama itacheza, la sivyo tuta switch kwa nyingine, lakini cha muhimu tegea hapa tukamakinike tunapochambua siasa zetu. Kumbuka, we are making sense of our politics as we ease life for the masses. Thank you.
Mtazamaji, tofauti katika chama cha ODM zimeendelea huku sasa wanawe marehemu kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga wakiwasuta wale wanaosema wameteka chama hicho. Na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga na nduguye Junior Odinga sasa wakisema watababaishwa kutoa misimamo yao, wakisema wataongoza juhudi za kukomboa chama kutoka kwa wale wanaosema wamekiteka nyara. Na wawili hao walihudhuria ibada na kushiriki mkutano wa kisiasa eneo la Kibra kama Seth Olale anavyoarifu.
Akihudhuria uzunduzi wa kundi la vijana katika uwanja wa Kamukunji eneo bunge la Kibra, Nairobi.
Ole wako ODM itaangukaje? Sifuna hako, na mimi napongeza Sifuna. Sifuna Chenye nataka nikwambie, Sifuna, simama. Simama imara Sifuna. Hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Usiwaogope. Hakuna kuogopa hapa mtu. Hawa ni wanaume, hawa si wanawake. Hata saa hii wanawake hakuna kitu ya kunini. Hakuna mwenye anaogopa mtu saa hii. Na Sifuna, usiogope ati hii ODM ati anguke. Tuko nyuma, tutakusaidia. Tutakusaidia vizuri sana. Baba alikuwekelea mikono. Akasema wewe utaendelesha inji. Sasa wewe simamisha hiyo ODM. Usiwache ODM ende anguke. Isianguke please. Simamisha hiyo chama. Usiwache hiyo ODM anguke. Unajua wengine wako tu hapa wanataka kuona kama nitaanguka. Na haiwezi anguka. Haiwezi anguka kabisa. Chenye mimi naomba tu, Sifuna, usikufa roho. Usiogope. Hawa wanaume wenye wanakufuata nyuma hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Wamekekeka kama wewe. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Simama imara. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Usiogope mtu yoyote. Usiogope. Ukiona kama imekuwa ngumu. Mimi naogopanga. Natakanga tu mtu aniite. Tutashikana na hao watu. Makoti, kwa mashati. Tutaamusha hiyo chama. Na nikuja hapa hivi, niwaambie. Hakuna cha kupangiwa. Hamwezi ana inji. Inji nataka kwenda. Ole wako. ODM itaangukaje? Sifuna hako. Na mimi napongeza Sifuna. Sifuna, chenye nataka nikwambie. Sifuna, simama. Simama imara Sifuna. Hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Usiwaogope. Hakuna kuogopa hapa mtu. Hawa ni wanaume, hawa si wanawake. Hata saa hii wanawake hakuna kitu ya kunini. Hakuna mwenye anaogopa mtu saa hii. Na Sifuna, usiogope ati hii ODM ati anguke. Tuko nyuma, tutakusaidia. Tutakusaidia vizuri sana. Baba alikuwekelea mikono. Akasema wewe utaendelesha inji. Sasa wewe simamisha hiyo ODM. Usiwache ODM ende anguke. Isianguke please. Simamisha hiyo chama. Usiwache hiyo ODM anguke. Unajua wengine wako tu hapa wanataka kuona kama nitaanguka. Na haiwezi anguka. Haiwezi anguka kabisa. Chenye mimi naomba tu, Sifuna, usikufa roho. Usiogope. Hawa wanaume wenye wanakufuata nyuma hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Wamekekeka kama wewe. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Simama imara. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Usiogope mtu yoyote. Usiogope. Ukiona kama imekuwa ngumu. Mimi naogopanga. Natakanga tu mtu aniite.
Okay, samahani, inaonekana sijui ni kwangu ama huko pia kuna delay, lakini tuvumiliane ili tutekeleze wajibu wetu ipasavyo. Let's just see if we'll be able to get this running. Okay, let's try this.
Ni kwa sababu gani tunatengeneza hii chama? Nataka niwaeleze. Why is this political party important? This political party is important because to transform a nation goes beyond one person. It goes beyond one term. It goes beyond one president. It goes into several years. And that is why a political party is the most important instrument in making sure that we have continuity, in making sure that we consolidate whatever plan for the transformation of a nation in institution of a political party, so that we can implement this manifesto of UDA beyond William Ruto, beyond the next term, into another term and another term as we go into the future. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Sababu hiyo ndio chama ni ya muhimu, kwa sababu inaunganisha Wakenya kuzidi kwa sababu sisi tunatoka dini tofauti, tunatoka communities tofauti, lakini ndani ya political party sisi tunaungana, tunakuwa one team ambaye ni ya kupeleka taifa letu la Kenya mbele. UDA hoye! Watu wa Nyeri mko salama? Ni kwa sababu gani tunatengeneza hii chama? Nataka niwaeleze. Why is this political party important? This political party is important because to transform a nation goes beyond one person. It goes beyond one term. It goes beyond one president. It goes into several years. And that is why a political party is the most important instrument in making sure that we have continuity, in making sure that we consolidate whatever plan.
Okay, that is William Ruto addressing UDA members in Nyeri and expounding on the importance of strong political parties and, of course, lasting political parties. And that is why we are pegging the question. If you believe in strong political parties and you believe that there is more for the country in strong political parties than it is in an individual, why wouldn't you facilitate the advancement of those political parties? Why would you be wreaking havoc in the ODM party, which is stronger than UDA, bigger than UDA, and of course has been in existence longer than UDA? Would you be killing one party to save another? And does that portray you as a sincere leader who has the interests of this country at heart? I don't think so. And so we can see that there is double speech in what he is saying, that he wants UDA to outlive him. He wants UDA to carry on the mandate of whatever he formulates as a policy for the country. But is that what he's doing in his action? Okay, is what he's saying what he's doing? Have we seen William Ruto save a political party? Don't forget, not long ago, he was out to wreck Jubilee and worked so hard to finish Jubilee. If there was no consolidated effort between Baba, Uhuru Kenyatta, and of course the rest of the Azimio family to save Jubilee, we wouldn't be having Jubilee Party in existence today. And so when does William Ruto believe in political parties, and when does he stop believing in political parties? If he indeed believes in political parties, where is UDM? Where is URP? Where is TNA? You should tell us where those political parties are. And so I think the political class has a way of, trying to carry Kenyans as, either people with short memory or people who are stupid enough to be lied to over and over again, and they will still be believing you. Because if we really believe in strong political parties, there should be that facilitation. Like Baba believed in political parties, and that's why he was on the forefront in fighting to save Jubilee. Which political party has William Ruto tried to save? Okay, he's claiming that he doesn't want to let ODM go back to opposition. But ODM has never stopped being opposition, number one. Number two, going to opposition is not exterminating a political party. Opposition politics is as good government politics. And there is no advantage of being in government or out of government in the current 2010 constitution dispensation. And so they push for that you will keep ODM in government because you don't want it in opposition is a fallacy, number one. Yes, it's a fallacy because all political parties are, in fact, funded according to their strength in the National Assembly, okay, or in the Senate, according to their strength. Strength means how many members have they been able to get into Parliament? How many members have they been able to get in the Senate? And so, if ODM right now is a darling and of course sought after, is because it's a strong party and has been able to get more members of Parliament in Parliament and in the Senate. That means if ODM relaxes now and does not work hard and get equal numbers of members of Parliament or equal numbers of senators in the Senate, it will soon become like Ford Kenya. It will soon become like other small political parties that don't have members in the National Assembly, don't have members in the Senate. And who is going to consult with such a political party? Who is going to take interest in such a political party? And so, in the wider spectrum of what William Ruto is calculating about the ODM party, I don't think the Oburu-led faction understand that ODM is ODM because it is strong in Parliament and strong in the Senate by representation. And if they are not able to recapture those seats and get those numbers of representation, they will become irrelevant. And in my observation, that is what Ruto out to see to it that ODM is squeezed and is reduced to a Nyanza political party with less than 10 members of Parliament. Nobody will consider them. Nobody will consult them. Nobody will take interest in them. So if they can't learn this and begin to see clearly that whatever that is working between UDA and ODM is not for the advantage of ODM, the better for them. But if they continue walking like sheep going to the slaughter, they will go and never come back. My senior in the faith, Dr. Kayo, was teaching and said, not every open door is for you. He said some doors that open, and when you walk in, you never walk back. You never walk out alive. And so there are some doors that can open and they look like they are promising, but they are not opened for you. If you push yourself in them, you may never walk out of those doors alive. And that's what I see at play right now as ODM is now being praised and ODM is being sought after. It is not being sought after so that it can perpetuate its life. It's being sought after so that it can be slaughtered, eaten, and forgotten. And that, to me, is both an insult and, of course, playing down or rather messing up the legacy of our legend, Raila Amolo Odinga. And so if indeed William Ruto is a friend of Raila Odinga and believed into what Raila Odinga was doing, he should not be wrecking his political party by sponsoring hungry hyenas who wants to sell the party for anything and everything at the expense of the toil, the labor, the struggle, the pain, the lives that have been lost for the sake of the Orange Party. And so, in my opinion, the Oburu team needs to call a conference for themselves. Wajisikize, waelewe ni kipi kinachoendelea. Wakiendelea na hii safari, sioni wakirudi wakiwa salama. Hiyo ni onyo tu, onyo la kisiasa. Okay, so video zangu zinaleta kizaazaa wakati nacheza, lakini tutajitahidi kuhakikisha kwamba tunafanya yale tunafanya. Kuna hili ambalo limeonekana wazi katika delegation ya ODM Kakamega. Hebu nione kama hii itacheza. Naomba tu tuvumiliane kama itakuwa.
Our party leader, kwanza tunasema asante. Asante kukuja Kakamega. Na pia tunasema asante. Asante to be the listening partner. Hii Kakamega County bila kuficha ilikuwa na bibi wa kwanza na bibi wa pili. Na wewe umefanya kitu cha maana, umekuja kuona hawa watoto. These delegates walikuwa wanatuuliza. These delegates walikuwa wanatuambia sisi tuko ndani ama tuko nje. Siku ya kwenda Mombasa walikuwa wamewachwa nje. Na hawa delegates, mimi nataka kuashua deputy party, our party leader, hawa wako kwa ODM. Hebu nione mkono wa ODM. Na siku ya leo nikisimama hapa, mnajua hapa Kakamega kuna wale wa propaganda, wale wa kuvunja, wale walidanganya Oparanya ametengeneza party, wale wafanya nini, na wanasema hiyo maneno kwa kujitakia. Kuna wale wanasema hawa wabunge wametoka kwa ODM. Ikiwa hata mimi mama, sisi tuko ndani. We are the original members. Itakuwaje tutoke kwa chama? Tumekalia na matako mawili. Na huyu Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya mwenye mnaona hapa alileta wabunge 10 kutoka kwa hii county. He cannot be taken for granted. He must be respected. Na sisi tunasema kwa mazungumzo yote, kwa maneno yote, we want the leader who is proved and tested and tried. Na anaitwa Wycliffe Ambetsa. Ama namna gani? Sisi hapa tunasema no Oparanya, na sisi tunafanya nini? Si namna hivyo? Bado manje mlembe. Na sisi tunasema ya kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga, shemeji yangu, alituacha kwa ODM. Na yeye akituacha hapo, alituacha na William Samoei Ruto. Sasa kama baba amechagua bibi, kweli mtoto unaweza kuingia ndani utoe huyo bibi? Kwa hivyo sisi tunasimama na William Ruto. Na tunaona ile maendeleo anatuletea. Na pia mkiwa hapa mjue ile porojo yenye watu walisema mama ametoka kwa rais ishindwe. Mimi bado niko kwa rais ya governor 2027. Senator, our party.
Okay, mambo yamekwenda hivyo huko Kakamega. Oburu amekutana na vikundi hivyo viwili vya ODM. Now, hivi vikundi vinatokana na kutoelewana kwa uchaguzi uliofanyika wa nani atakuwa chairman wa ODM Kakamega County. So kuna Fernandes Baraza ambaye ni governor wa Kakamega, who was the incumbent chair of the ODM party. So when there was a grassroots election, it is said that he lost the elections against B. Nabwera. And so Nabi Nabwera did not accept the results, and he's continuing to demand that he's the bona fide chairman of ODM in Kakamega, as Fernandes Baraza with the Kakamega County, of course, insisting that he's the bona fide chair of ODM. Now, there is something about that aspect of the ODM party, which in my opinion, it is one, counterproductive, and two, I think is unconstitutional. Unconstitutional in the sense that if you are an executive in the government, active executive in the government, you cannot hold a party position. Okay? You cannot hold a party position. You remember Oparanya was deputy party leader in ODM. So was Joho. When they were appointed to the cabinet as CSs in this government, what happened? They had to relinquish their position in the ODM party. So I don't understand why somebody is a governor, okay, and he wants to hold a position in the political party. He wants to be, and it is through this uh, the chairs who are governors that the party is suffering a great deal, because the party cannot function freely because the governor holds the party hostage. If he doesn't frustrate the members from saying what they want, he will stifle the supply of the funds for the party, and of course cripple the function of the party. And so I think the ODM party needs to relook into this aspect of, do we have sitting governors serve as well as chairman of political party? In my opinion, the chairmanship of the political party should be left for the members, and those people should not be one serving in the parliament or serving in the county assembly. They should be free so that they can concentrate on the party. But this double working, person is a governor, is the chairman of the party, and things like that. All this is one, creating confusion, and now there is this active war in Kakamega. You see now there is the women rape that she's called Elsie Mohando. She's in contradiction with Baraza. Why? She's an aspirant. She wants to be governor in 2027. Baraza seems to be threatened by her influence. And so what does he do? He begins to fight her. But in fighting her, he now does what? Goes for, I think, Elsie's godfather, political godfather. And the political godfather of Elsie is Opanya, the former governor of Kakamega. And so it is rumored that it is Baraza who is submitting files to the anti-corruption to ensure that they frustrate Oparanya. And so Oparanya is coming back and saying, okay, you don't want me to lead a peaceful life in my retirement as a former governor. Now I'll come back and rock you from your boat. And so the faction here talking like what that women rep is saying is that she's in the race in 2027. Then, of course, she's in defense of Oparanya, because Oparanya and his influence, especially in Kakamega County, is indisputable in terms of his delivery in the last election. He was able to get 10 out of 12 seats for ODM, and that is an excellent score. I don't know what you think about this, but I think the wars in ODM are far from over, especially from the western region of this country. And I think the more that is ignored, the worse things will become for the Orange Party. In my opinion, if you want to steal the ODM party, that is, you want to quiet down everything, and you want everything to move smoothly, you cannot ignore Western Kenya. You cannot ignore Kakamega County. You cannot ignore Busia County. You cannot ignore Vihiga County. Those are ODM counties, and they have been like that all along. I don't think we have had any other leadership in terms of governors in Western region. It's only Bungoma that goes on the other side because of Fort Kenya. But these other counties are controlled by ODM. And so I would that something serious needs to take place. Then, of course, you heard her talking about Baba left us with William Ruto. Now, that's where I find it very strange. Strange in the sense that we seem to have this, notion in the political class that proximity to power is more important than being faithful, being integrous and being truthful. And that is not what Baba stood for. Despite the fact that Baba shook hands with almost all presidents, he never compromised on the values and his stand in terms of defending the public good and standing for the public good. And whenever he was pushed not to condemn what is wrong because of his association with power, he always chose standing with the people than agreeing with power. And so what is evolving here, that because you are in government or you are in agreement to work with government, you should look the other side when evil is taking place. You should look the other side when things are falling apart. To me, that is wrong and should not be entertained. And so whether ODM is in working relationship with UDA, the ills that are bedeviling the people and bedeviling the masses should be a priority in them being addressed. Like right now, the reporting to the school of grade 10 is problematic. There is a crisis there. The issue of wherever, there is a clip, maybe I'll find it, of how Shah money is being, stolen. And nobody's saying anything about it because we have chosen to look the other side. I don't think looking the other side is helping. And so we as a people need to rise up and say, if it's for public good, and then it is our business. We cannot look the other side, and we cannot pretend not to see no evil, hear no evil. And of course, because we are on the table and we are eating, we are not an eating political party. We are a fighting political party. Fighting in the sense that we seek the the betterment of our country by ensuring that what is for the good of the country should not be ignored when it comes to articulating our political positioning. And so as I get set to get back and break further what is cooking, let's try to get this video again. I hope this time round it will play without problem. Asante sana, tumakinike, tuendelee kukaribishana tunaposonga mbele.
Mtazamaji, tofauti katika chama cha ODM zimeendelea huku sasa wanawe marehemu kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga wakiwasuta wale wanaosema wameteka chama hicho.
Na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga na nduguye Junior Odinga sasa wakisema watababaishwa kutoa misimamo yao, wakisema wataongoza juhudi za kukomboa chama kutoka kwa wale wanaosema wamekiteka nyara. Na wawili hao walihudhuria ibada na kushiriki mkutano wa kisiasa eneo la Kibra, kama Seth Olale anavyoarifu.
Akihudhuria uzunduzi wa kundi la vijana katika uwanja wa Kamukunji, eneo bunge la Kibra, Nairobi, mwanawe marehemu Raila na mbunge wa Yala Winnie Odinga alionekana kujitosa mzima mzima kwenye mdahalo wa mustakabali wa chama cha ODM. Winnie akionekana kuwarushia makombora walioonya kuhusu mkutano eneo hilo.
Sikia, kuna watu wengine walisema hatuwezi kuja hapa. Hao ni akina nani? Waeleze nimerudi nyumbani, nimefika kwa bedroom na hata saizi natoa viatu.
Akiambatana na nduguye Junior Odinga, Winnie alipuzilia mbali wito wa kutaka baadhi ya wanachama kuondoka kwenye chama hicho kutokana na msimamo wao kuhusu ushirikiano wa ODM na UDA.
Hakuna siku baba aliwahi eleza anybody atoke kwenye hii chama. Wanaongea sana, na tukiuliza maswali wanasema tutoke kwenye chama. Tukitoka watabaki na nani kwenye hii chama?
Winnie akiashiria kile anasema ni kukikomboa chama hicho na wale aliowataja kuwa washirika wake.
Hauwezi copy paste baba. Huwezi copy paste the greatest leader Kenya has ever seen. Atunabadilisha na huyu ati sasa tuko na baba. No, haiwezi kuwa hivyo. So sisi kama watu wa ODM lazima tuongee na watu wetu, lazima tuongee na mavijana, tuongee na wamama, pia wazee tutaongea nao.
Winnie pia akiahidi kivumbi kwenye mkutano wa kitaifa wa wajumbe wa ODM.
Na wale wanasema ati sijui baba aliwaambia sijui nini ati. Hiyo ni kikosa adabu. Nyamazeni bwana. Hiyo ni kikosa adabu. Tulieni bana. Everything baba alikuwa anasema mbele ya watu wake.
Awali, mbunge huyo na nduguye Junior walihudhuria ibada katika kanisa la ACK Holy Trinity iliyoko eneo bunge hilo. Mbunge huyo wa Iyala amesema kwamba mbali na jijini Nairobi atazuru maeneo mengine nchini ili kupata maoni kutoka kwa wanachama wa ODM. Seth Olale, runinga ya Citizen katika uwanja wa Kamukunji, eneo bunge la Kibra.
Okay, there you have it. That's what went down in Kibra as Winnie Odinga and Raila Jr. attended a service, and they had a function with the young people in the famous Kamkunji grounds. And you can tell from the conversation that there is a disconnect between what Oburu is doing and what the immediate family of Raila Odinga feels and thinks about the political party. And what's clear there is a message that ODM is under siege and Oburu Odinga and team, and it has to be rescued. And Winnie Odinga seems to be in that faction, or rather in that team of the young Turks that wants the ODM party rescued from these so-called leaders who wants, to be satisfied by whatever offers that are coming by reason of the association with William Ruto, and they would wish that they forget everything else and celebrate William Ruto. It's almost appearing like William Ruto is now the determinant factor of how the Orange Party will work. William Ruto is the determinant factor on who is the friend of ODM and who is the enemy of ODM. And this has never been in the history of the Eugene has worked with the, of course, Mother Karua, has worked with the Jubilee, has worked with the Uhuru Kenyatta and other players. But we have never had an ODM that is determined by an outsider. As much as Uhuru Kenyatta was even sponsoring Baba into an election, they respected boundaries. That 2022 towards 2022 elections, you saw Baba attending the NDC of Jubilee, attended the NDC of Wiper, attended the NDC of I think Kanu. Yeah, and so there is that mutual respect of we are colleagues, yes, we are in the same political space, but you have your house, I have my house, and so I respect your operation in your house. I think that's the mutual aspect of political party relating. But this invasion by William Ruto in the Orange Party to take hostage the top leadership by their pretentious and, of course, continued persuading the public that broad-based government is the really government and everybody should go in the broad-based government. I have stated here, I repeat again, broad-based government is not a legal entity. Number one, it's not a legal entity. ODM is a legal entity. That's number one. And so you cannot abandon a legal entity and go join an amorphous arrangement that has no law anywhere, it has no support of the law anywhere, has no constitutional provision anywhere. And you must be out of your mind to abandon your legal entity and go and join an amorphous arrangement that has no head or tail. So these people who are pushing that broad-based government is the future of ODM, those are the enemies of ODM to start with. And I don't think there's any other way to look at that. You know, if UDA violates the constitution, we can sue it as UDA. If ODM violates the constitution, we can sue it as ODM. But broad-based government, when it violates the law, we cannot sue it as broad-based government. Why? Because broad-based is not a legal entity. I hope that is clear. And so these people who are abandoning or who wants to convert ODM into broad-based, they are the main problem. They are most of them are members of parliament. Members of parliament are legislators. Legislators are lawmakers. So when the lawmakers want to abandon a legal entity to go and join an amorphous arrangement that has no head or tail, then you see there is a huge problem here. And in my opinion, whatever that went down in Kibra today is the beginning of the salvaging of the ODM party. In my calculated opinion, we had ODM in Kibra. We don't know what we had in Kakamega, especially that Oburu-led thing, because it's looking strange. It's wearing orange, yes. It's saying ODM, but it is sounding UDA. It is talking UDA language. It is the body language is UDA. The only thing orange there is the dressing. And then even that dressing of everybody in orange is strange. We've had ODM meetings, but it's never all uniform. Why? Because we have people walk in and, you know, ODM is known to be an organic party, not this well-dressed everybody in yellow or everybody in orange. Something strange is going on. And we must salvage the hopes and beliefs and the aspiration of majority of Kenyans who believe in the ODM party. And so the genesis of the rescuing of the ODM party started today in Kibra with Winnie Odinga, Raila Jr., and of course, the message that went out clear and to the point. And let's hear this lady as she speaks out her heart on the aspect of ODM party.
Ole wako. ODM itaangukaje? Shifuna hako. Na mimi napongeza Shifuna. Shifuna, chenye nataka nikwambie. Shifuna, simama. Simama imara Shifuna. Hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Usiwaogope. Hakuna kuogopa hapa mtu. Hawa ni wanaume, hawa si wanawake. Hata saa hii wanawake hakuna kitu ya kunini. Hakuna mwenye anaogopa mtu saa hii. Na Shifuna, usiogope ati hii ODM atianguke. Tuko nyuma, tutakusaidia. Tutakusaidia vizuri sana. Baba alikuwekelea mikono. Akasema wewe utaendelesha inji. Sasa wewe simamisha hiyo ODM. Usiwache ODM ende anguke. Isianguke please. Simamisha hiyo chama. Usiwache hiyo ODM ianguke. Unajua wengine wako tu hapa wanataka kuona kama itaanguka. Na haiwezi anguka. Haiwezi anguka kabisa. Chenye mimi naomba tu Shifuna, usikufe roho. Usiogope. Hawa wanaume wenye wanakufuata nyuma hawa ni wanaume kama wewe. Wamekekeka kama wewe. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Simama imara. Wametairiwa kama wewe. Usiogope mtu yoyote. Usiogope. Ukiona kama imekuwa ngumu. Mimi naogopanga. Natakanga tu mtu aniite. Tutashikana na watu. Makoti, kwa mashati. Tutaamusha hiyo chama. Na nikuja hapa hivi, niwaambie. Hakuna cha kupangiwa. Amwezi ana inji nataka kwenda. Ole wako.
Okay, that is a mama in I think bunge la wananchi hapa Nairobi akitoa maoni yake kuhusu msimamo wa Sifuna na chama cha ODM. And it's clearly there that the Sifuna factor in the ODM party cannot be underrated and overlooked. And there seems to be more faith into what Sifuna stands for as far as the Orange Party is concerned than what is being pushed by the UDA-controlled ODM faction. And this is coming out clear in this Mama's speech in support of Sifuna, and she's begging that Sifuna should keep standing strong and, of course, keeping the values and the stand of Raila Odinga, as Raila Odinga trusted him with the party, and he should not let the party down by letting go and letting the vultures and the hyenas carry the day. I share her givings, and then, of course, I believe that political parties are as good as they are free to be what they are supposed to be. The moment there is manipulation and there is preparing from elsewhere, those political parties cease to be what they should be, and they can't deliver what they should deliver. And so if William Ruto wants to be of help to the Orange Party, he should let the Orange Party decide a future on its own and not influence that they have to decide a certain way because of a certain outcome. And you've had the people like Orengo and people of like minds are saying there is no profit in ODM associating with UDA. And I agree with that. I don't see how ODM gains by associating with UDA or supporting William Ruto. What is it gaining? Which constituency is it gaining? Is it being given part of Rift Valley to control? Are they being given part of where to control? Look at the way UDA is invading all wherever the strongholds of ODM. UDA is not a friend of ODM. Yes, unlike Jubilee, unlike DAP and other political parties, it's clear that UDA is in serious competition with ODM. And that is why they should not be even considering that aspect of, merging or working together, because their working together is only headed into the place of utterly disagreeing. And of course, history is about to repeat itself. History is about to repeat itself. History is about to repeat itself in this manner, because me, I'll remind you, I'm a history student. Remember 2008? Don't forget 2008. ODM had members of parliament all over the country, especially, I think all the members of parliament in Rift Valley were from ODM, majority of them. Then what happened? When they got into parliament, and of course, elections were stolen, and Raila Odinga didn't make it as president by Kibaki rigging himself into office and refusing to let go. The arrangement couldn't work as it had been arranged previously by the ODM then, meaning the sharing of the seats. So Raila Odinga had to settle for being prime minister. That prime minister seat had been promised William Ruto in case the ODM forms government to 2007. And what happened? The moment Raila Odinga was made prime minister, and of course, the running mate of Raila Odinga was Musalia Mudavadi then. And so it would have been awkward for Raila Odinga to be prime minister and appoint William Ruto as deputy prime minister and ignore Musalia Mudavadi, who was his running mate. And so what happened? The appointing of Musalia Mudavadi as deputy prime minister waged a strong war in the ODM, led by none other than William Ruto. And what happened? William Ruto consolidated all the ODM members of parliament from Rift Valley to begin to be opposing who? Raila Odinga. And if there is any form of frustration that Raila Odinga faced in the Grand Coalition, was emanating from one person, William Ruto. Remember when Raila Odinga was charged with the responsibility to save Mau, the Mau forest, the people leading that protest against the displacing of people from Mau to save that catchment area was William Ruto, was Isaac Ruto, and was the Rift Valley members of parliament. And so the rocking of the orange political, or whatever, the ODM party, was led by none other than William Ruto, and all the 5 years of Raila Odinga being prime minister, and of course the Grand Coalition, the thorn in the flesh was William Ruto. I'm reminding you this because as soon as there is a merger between ODM and UDA, and then if they go together in the election, whereby they are doing what? Fielding candidates under the same umbrella, okay? Fielding in candidates under the same umbrella. What's going to happen is the members of parliament are going to get into parliament, and all of them are going to cross to UDA, and ODM will remain a shell. Just like William Ruto led the cutting Raila Odinga to size by walking away with Rift Valley members of parliament who were in ODM, and they began to, advocate for UDM. Those of you can remember that time of 2000. It is what will play along. Just like William Ruto got into office and impeached Gachagua, his deputy. Okay? It's the same thing that is going to be at play. Even if ODM is given that slot of running mate, and they make it to power in 2027, I promise you by 2028, the deputy president, whether it's Wanga or whoever, will be impeached. History will keep repeating itself. And so the best thing to happen for this country is to let all political parties chart their way forward freely. And if there is any future for ODM, it's when they field candidates everywhere in the country and compete against other political parties to win as many seats as possible. The identity of ODM is what keeps ODM powerful, not merger, not agreeing. And the history of the operation of the leadership of ODM under Raila Odinga is that they never entered into mergers or agreement with other political parties until after the elections, and all avenues to address grievances about the elections were exhausted. Meaning coalitions and agreements are only entered in when we run short of options. Yes, when we run short of options. Baba has run successfully presidential elections and has won most of the time, and is snatched his victory, and then of course goes to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court agrees with the thief, and what happens now? His options are limited. Okay, now when options are limited, and then there has to be a cycle of elections. A cycle of elections in Kenya is after every 5 years. Now we are, let's say, the first year into the cycle of 5 years. So how are we going to navigate the remaining 4 years before we get into another election cycle? Those are the things that informed and influenced the decisions that Baba was making to go for a handshake. A handshake was, let's keep us active until the next elections. It was never meant to, let's keep this person in office. So the decision ODM is taking right now to preserve William Ruto in office is anti-Baba, is anti-Raila Odinga in terms of how Raila Odinga fought and wanted this country to be governed. And so, in my understanding, the Oburu-led team is misled. It's misled, and it's acting on what I call hot air. Yes, hot air, because there is no ground to stand on in all that they are pushing for. ODM has never been involved in fighting to keep anybody in office. ODM has always been the fight to provide better leadership, better life for Kenyans. And every time there was a call for mandamano or anything, it was always geared towards that, the betterment of the lives of Kenyans, and then, of course, ensuring that the government in power delivers for the people. This one that they want to throw all that away and go to fight for one person to ensure that that person stays in office, that's not the calling of ODM. That's not the purpose of ODM. So the Oburu-led team is misled, and they cannot be purporting to be acting on Baba's instruction. I think they are deceived, and the earlier they wake up from that, their slumber, the better for them, and the better for the Orange Party. Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to salute all of you for your faithful support as we continue to break down our politics and then, of course, learn one or two things from what we are saying. And so I support the Winnie Odinga stand. Let's rescue the party. And, of course, those who have been taken hostage, they need to be, woken from their slumber and be shown the way. Now, something went down in Kitui today. One MCA was greeted for propagating the gospel of two-term. Now, I'm going to play the clip, but that just shows that the people pushing for two-term are detached from the ground. They are not in touch with the ground at all, and they think that they can impose a particular stand on the public. When the public rejects you, has rejected you, it doesn't matter how many times you push to claim that you're the one they have chosen. Let's see what went in Kitui here as one person is being greeted seriously.
Tutulie tafadhali, tutulie, turudeni tafadhali, twendeni tuketi, twendeni. Tutulie tafadhali, tutulie, turudeni tafadhali, twendeni tuketi, twendeni.
Okay, I don't in any way advocate for violence, but it's good for you as a leader to read the crowd and of course read sikiliza ground, ile slogan ya Gachagua. Imposed leadership is not the way to go. We are not living in a time when dictatorship and forcing a way on the people will not go well with you. And so I would encourage every leader all over the country, listen to the ground properly, and then, of course, don't get caught up into supporting an individual other than standing for the public. If you are an MCA, you are a member of parliament, an MP, or a senator or a governor or a president. All those are public public offices or public callings. And if you are in a public calling, your number one responsibility is speak for the public, not speak for William Ruto, not speak for the president, not speak for even your political party. Speak for the public. That's your number one calling. So this obsession of people getting caught up into speaking and defending an individual instead of defending the public and standing for the public good is strange. It is very strange. And so this is the kind of treatment you are inviting to yourself when you forget your responsibility. We say in the School of Purpose that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. This MCA is abusing the calling of an MCA, the calling of a member of parliament, when all of your time, 24/7, you're advocating for William Ruto and William Ruto's re-election everywhere. That is not your responsibility. Your number one responsibility is, are Kenyans going to school well? Are Kenyans getting medical care rightly? Are the people being served well by the government? That's what public officers do. And so I really would encourage that before you get into your public service, learn the purpose of being a public officer. Well, in conclusion, as we begin to land, let's listen out to this. I'm looking for that SHA video. When I get it, we'll be able to play it and kind of get that. So let's recapture this. Remember, Sifuna is the topic in most of the conversations, and even when his name is not mentioned, it appears he's the thorn in the flesh for the hijacked part of ODM that wants to serve the interest of William Ruto other than the interest of the political party, ODM, and of course the founding leader, Raila Odinga. So who is Sifuna and why is Sifuna a thorn in the flesh in most of this compromised, purchased faction in the ODM family?
Meanwhile, Orange Democratic Movement Party Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, who has kicked a fresh storm within the party, says he's not ready to speak to the media anytime soon, not until things are sorted out fast. Sifuna, who has openly stated that he will not throw his weight behind President William Ruto's 2027 re-election bid, has stated that he does not fear anyone and is ready to rumble with whoever comes his way. And as Duncan Haimba reports, for Edwin Sifuna, his is a case of an apple that does not fall far from the tree.
Sahi tunalia huko nje. Kama sio wewe Junet tungekuwa kwa serikali. So mimi huwezi nitisha bwana. Hawezi kunitisha. Wanasema Nairobi ukipata sponsor mpya usianze kutukana ule alikutoa kwa bedsitter.
The abrasive, fearless and firebrand Nairobi Senator Edwin Watenya Sifuna is a student of law come politician whose entry into the limelight was as bold, thunderous and fiery as he comes. Sifuna, whose roots are from Western Kenya, Bungoma specifically, has stood out as a leader who is always ready to rumble whenever, wherever. A leader who confronts challenges head on. The lawyer shot to the limelight on 22nd March 2015 when, together with his Okoa LSK brigade, scuttled LSK's annual general meeting after a section of members disagreed with the LSK president, then Eric Mutua, over rules of procedure. Okoa LSK team, led by then little-known Sifuna, wanted the controversy surrounding the construction of the proposed International Arbitration and Convention Center be put at the top of the agenda. A standoff ensued. Team Sifuna held its ground, leading to the meeting aborting.
Respect law and order. We cannot be shouting the way we are shouting.
Nobody should scare you that we are perpetuating an illegality. The illegality has walked out.
It was moved to the second venue the following day, and still the opposition within the society carried the day, forcing its president to walk away. The Okoa LSK squad took over and concluded the AGM. A year later, in June 2016, the High Court advocate was at it again when he marched to ODM party headquarters and took over as the Secretary General, overthrowing then SG Tofik Tera Ababu Namwamba Smart, who had fallen out with the powers that be at Orange House.
We are taking a position that has been vacant. So that is why we are here today.
A position he has held for nearly 10 years now, discharging his duties in his characteristic style, brevity. In 2022 August, he entered Parliament after being elected third Senator of Nairobi City County. And even in the August House, Sifuna has remained Sifuna, fearless and unwavering.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very well versed with Rule 30.
Just read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. I just want to say...
I am not versed. Read it for me, please.
But you cannot direct me to read. I am saying...
Honorable Sifuna, read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. Let me say what I want to say, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, let her read. Let's see how well she knows. I don't think there is any rule that requires that I can be directed to read.
Honorable Sifuna, take your seat.
Thank you.
The senator for Nairobi should simply support the motion and sit down instead of Kola-Shulman syndrome. Otherwise, you cannot threaten us as senator for Nairobi. For the first time, I have also spoken about this thing of threatening, and you know I rarely speak about these matters of things that look like discipline.
Madam Senator, I hope you will take the wisdom of that objection from Senator Madam.
Madam Speaker, I am not obliged to be lectured to listen to anyone. We have children. If you feel the need to lecture anyone, go home and lecture your children. I was not elected here to be lectured by anyone. Madam Speaker, let me proceed to second the motion. That is a fact.
In April 2025, during the burial of late Raila Odinga's chief security, George Oduor in Rarieda, the city's senator came face to face with President William Ruto. And here, they exchanged political pleasantries too.
Ilikuwepo pale tukiandikisha mkataba na chama cha UDA. Na huo mkataba kuna mambo inazungumzia.
Nimesikia Sifuna anaongea na nguvu. Wakati unaongea mambo yangu Sifuna, ukinisukuma sana, nitaitisha mkutano naweza kufanyia discipline.
Since taking over as party secretary general, the late party leader Raila Odinga was always protective of Sifuna.
When Mr. Sifuna speaks, he's speaking on behalf of the party. Mr. Sifuna, saa ingine hapana kwa chungu sana.
The current storm within the party was started by Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed when he alleged Sifuna was on a mission to sell the Orange Party to retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, prompting the senator to fire back salvos.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta anataka kusaidia sisi kwa chama chetu cha ODM. Mimi nimebaki tu kusema and he is ready to invest over $1 billion shillings in our party. Ati ili atusaidie chama yetu ikuwe imara.
Mshenzi mmoja ametambua kwamba kuna ubaya ya pesa ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Nataka niulize Junet. Wewe Junet, pesa ya Uhuru ilianza kuwa mbaya siku gani? Siku ile ulikuwa unachukua hiyo pesa na hata yote hukuleta kwa chama.
Edwin Sifuna is a nephew to the late Lawrence Sifuna, former Kandui Member of Parliament, who was among a group of fiery opposition MPs during the late 70s and 80s, who are referred to as 7 bearded sisters, who openly challenged President Daniel Moi's regime. His seemingly rebellious nature runs in the blood, or is it?
If they want to go for presidential candidacy, they should look for another party.
Hakuna mtu ambaye ana uwezo ya kunifukuza ndani ya chama cha ODM. Wewe tulia tu. Sisi Waluya tunasema mkienda kuwinda mnyama ambaye amekuwa akikula kondoo, anakula kuku yako, amuendi wote kwa laini moja namna hii. Sijui kama mnanielewa? Mnanielewa? Wewe ingilia hii pande, akifikiria ni wewe, anasikia amepigwa mshale ya kifua. Anasikia mwingine amemshika shingo, mwingine amemshika mguu, kidogo kidogo fisi wapi? Chini. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka mkae ngangari.
A section of ODM members have prevailed upon ODM party leader Oburu Oginga to convene an emergency meeting of the party's Central Management Committee to extinguish the fires. Duncan Haemba, NTV.
Meanwhile, Orange Democratic Movement Party Secretary.
Okay, there you have it. That is Sifuna for you, and his journey into the political space that he is now occupying, and of course being a thorn in the flesh to some of those that would want the status quo retained. But in my opinion, anything that is being pushed to support one, public good, two, rule of law, I support it 100% without questioning, because we need more than ever the right leadership in our country in ensuring that we all return to the rule of law. We cannot have whatever a country being led in away from what is constitutional and, of course, protected by rule of law, to what is being pushed right now of benevolence, that we should befriend the government in order for us to get development. We should work with the government so that we can benefit. If we don't work with the government, if we don't support the government of the day, we'll be disadvantaged. That way is a wrong place to leave your children or leave the country. In my opinion, every person who is advocating for that, what is called that benevolent kind of leadership is part of the problem, and we should not encourage such. Let's get people do what they are required to do. Let William Ruto do the right thing, because the law demands that he does the right thing. So it's for the members of parliament, for the senators, and for the... We are all under the law of the land, and not under the goodwill of Ruto or the goodwill of any other Kenyan. And so we cannot move the country from the rule of law and leave it at the whims of the moods and the intention of an individual. In quick, as we begin to wrap up, let's just listen out to this ODM split in Kakamega, and then we'll hear from Kalonzo. Alafu tumalizie na nyota, mradi wa nyota kumbe ni hewa.
The Orange Democratic Movement, ODM's quest for unity, has suffered another blow in the county of Kakamega with reports of a split among the party's elected leaders. An ODM delegates meeting is on the cards in Kakamega, but it is now emerging that two groups have planned two different meetings, with Governor Fernandez Baraza organizing one meeting to give the region its political cause, while Quisero Member of Parliament Christopher Aseka also had organized another meeting.
Tutaangalia mambo mengi kuhusu chama chetu, mahali tumetoka, mahali tuko na mahali tunaelekea. Tunatarajia delegates si chini ya 2,000. Mimi najua mkutano halali wa delegates wa chama halali utakuwa hapa. Tutakuwa tunatoa mambo yetu ambayo tunaona ni muhimu sana. Kwa mfano kwamba sisi tunakubaliana kuwa Daktari Oburu aendelee kuwa party leader. Na pia tuna matarajio yetu kama wana Kakamega wa hichi chama. Kesho tutakuwa tunazungumzia viongozi wa chama kutoka afisi kuu, matarajio yetu.
The Orange Democratic Movement, ODM's quest for unity, has suffered another blow in the county.
Today, hakuna mtu ameeleza Kenya kwa nini Rigiji alikuwa impeached. There was no reason. Hakuna. Akamuimpeach. So he now must face up to the natural consequences of that action. Now, you ndio the very basic thing. And if he has a difficulty with that one, I can explain to him. Because anajenga sisi ni wajinga, we'll tell him. And I don't have to defend. We don't have to really talk about these things. Mambo upuzi ya kuambiwa Singapore, I say first of all, is diplomatically embarrassing. Today, hakuna mtu ameeleza Kenya kwa nini Rigiji alikuwa impeached.
Zaidi ya vijana 100 kutoka kaunti ya Turkana walikuwa wamesajiliwa katika mpango wa Nyota iliyozinduliwa mjini Eldoret na Rais William Ruto wamejitokeza kulalamika wakidai hawajapokea pesa zao shilingi 22,000 kwa simu zao kama ilivyotarajiwa. Vijana hao wanasema wamejaribu kila mbinu na kupiga simu kutafuta usaidizi kwa wasimamizi wao, wakaelekezwa kwa afisi za Nyota Lodwa, ila wakapata afisi ilifungwa. Simu zao zinaonyesha hakuna salio au mapokezi yoyote kutoka kwa Nyota kama walivyoagizwa kufuatia sheria na masharti. Kwa sasa vijana hawa wanalalamika wakimtaka Rais William Ruto ingilie kati, wakishuku kuna matapeli ambao wanataka kuwalaghai.
We came here very early in the morning and there is no one here. We contacted the personnel in charge here and he is nowhere to be seen.
Sisi peke yetu unatuona hapa, tuko wengi. Kuna wengine wa Loima, kuna wengine wa Lokori, kuna wengine Turkana South, wengine wa Lexon. Wengi vijana wajapata, ni kama hata zaidi ya 100. Nikipiga hesabu juu wale niko nao hapo kwa karatasi ni zaidi ya 50.
Hata juzi kuna nyumba nilikuwa nimechukua nikaambia mwenyewe juu wenye walikuwa wameenda last week kuna wenye walipata hizo 22,000. Sasa hata nikachukua nyumba nikaongoja wakasema wenye wao wakupata before date 8 to 16. Sasa tumeongoja ndio leo tumekuja hapa tumepata hakuna mtu hata kwa ofisi.
Na zaidi ya vijana 100.
Okay, basi mambo ni kama hayo. Siasa zetu aziishi vituko na aziishi ahadi za uongo. Well, the Orange Party and its issues, I believe they will find an amicable solution, but we need top layer wisdom in handling this. Oburu Odinga and team wako na kazi ngumu. Wako na kazi ngumu, sio tu kuconvince viongozi bali kuconvince nchi nzima kwamba kuna faida ya ODM kuhusika ama kuhusiana na UDA. Licha ya kusema maendeleo ama nini, ODM inajulikana kwa nia yake na mikakati yake. Hiyo mikakati italindwa vipi wakati wanaingiana na nani? Na UDA. Hilo ni swala nyeti. And then of course hizo vita zinavyoendelea Kakamega, sio rahisi kuvizima kwa sababu hiyo faction ya Nabii na Bwera na Oparanya nina wa delegates wake 2,000, alafu ya Fernandez Baraza pia ina wako wake. So hapo kuna ngoma, na ODM isiposhikana pamoja especially in Kakamega basi itakuwa imeisha, kwa sababu wanayoitamani wale wanaona kwamba ikivunjika watafaidika ni wao wa UDA ambao mmechagua kusahau chama chenu na kuendelea kuwapigia debe wale ambao ni your competitors. It is very, very sad that we can quickly forget what Baba stood for so fast. And then, of course, they are also talking about the consequences of impeaching Gachagua, and him being a senior counsel says that there's no justifiable reason for that. And there is the law of nature that will result into consequences of victimizing Gachagua by Ruto, and he should live alive to the same. I hope that is a warning that William Ruto can live up to. That is, take heed to the same. And finally, one of the things that William Ruto has deployed with our sister Mangeni and Oparanya is this Nyota Fund. And that story there begins to raise red flag on everything William Ruto does. Has some fishy outcome. And we are not saying that because we don't like William Ruto or don't want William Ruto. It's just government does not operate the way William Ruto is operating. That is what I know. That's what I grew up knowing. And the reason being, government does not act out of assumption, and it does not act out of impulse. Government is known to have structured involvement. Structured involvement means before we launch out a program, that program should have been looked into a whole year ahead, planned for a whole year ahead. All the eventualities that may arise have been addressed conclusively before it is rolled out so that it is smooth flowing. Our experience with William Ruto is that there is no project he launches that will not have hiccups and, of course, begin to deal with eventualities while the program is on. That is unlike government. Unlike government. So you see now these young people went for the rally. William Ruto took pictures, took videos, and of course make hyped that he has gone to support the young people, especially those who did not make it out, maybe to higher education and things like that. He's going to give them money. Then he tells them to go and wait for the money. And now they are coming up 6 days later that there's no money that has come in. So what do we make of that? One, either the money has been diverted elsewhere, or two, the program was just meant for PR, show that somebody is concerned when he is not. And that, to me, is a letdown. It's a letdown. Don't play with young people, especially. It's uncalled for. It's uncalled for, and so it's sad that the president is involved in such projects that are not well thought out, and of course that has a way of misrepresenting this country, and of course painting this country in bad light. And that is why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. Government does not operate the way William Ruto is operating. These impulse decisions and these unthought out undertakings are messing up this country, And we should not encourage it at all. We should not encourage it at all. And so I would that something needs to happen. William Ruto has been in government from 1992 to date. There is nothing about government William Ruto should be being advised or being reminded. He should know how government works. These shortcuts need to end. Let's have a systematic operation of a government that runs projects that are indeed serious projects that are geared towards helping the public. Not this playing around with young people, giving them false hope, and of course, leaving them hanging. This is not what a country does, especially to the young population. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 6 minutes after 2 a.m. East African time. I must call it a day there, and really look forward to meeting you again in the next show. But before I go, I want to remind you, if you have not followed me, please follow me on TikTok, on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. We are Sound Candid Talk. Those of you following on TikTok, the link in the bio there will lead you to our YouTube channel, where you need to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and then of course there is more that goes on the YouTube channel than what you get on TikTok. So if you subscribe on YouTube, you will gain more, because most of the live events that take place around the country are streamed directly on our YouTube channel, and so you can keep abreast with all that is happening politically and otherwise as you follow our broadcasts. I also want to encourage you to support the channel and support the work we are doing by ensuring that we are able to pay for these lights and keep the show running smoothly. There is a till number here. Those of you following on TikTok, you can drop in something to buy tokens and pay Wi-Fi as we continue to share different views by different Kenyans on how our country should be governed. So 516575 is the till number. Sound Candid Talk is the name that will appear when you send your contribution. And if you can't use the till number, maybe because you are in the diaspora, then you use my direct line is scrolling on the screen. Those of you following on Facebook and on Facebook and on YouTube. Otherwise, the number is +254-718-4585. The number once again is +254-718-454585. Thank you so much. Bernard is the name. I look forward to meeting you in the next show. Keep it at Sound Candid Talk. Let's ensure that we do all it takes to keep this country running rightly and not being seduced into following what should not be as if that's the only way out. William Ruto can only be given a second term by how he performs the first term. There's no guarantee for the second term without winning the elections. And so the debate of 2-term, 3-term, 1-term does not arise. What is indeed necessary here is that William Ruto should show us the scorecard. Let him show us how many people moved from Mathare to Kileleshwa, how many people moved from Kibra to Karen, how many people moved from Mathare to Muthaiga. That is bottom up. We need that scorecard. And then how are Kenyans doing in terms of education, in terms of healthcare? Are they better off now or they are worse off? If they are worse off, William Ruto should go. If they are better off, William Ruto should be given the second term. That is the only way to go about this. Any other thing that all Luyas have come together with Luos or Kalenjin have agreed with Kikuyus and things like that, that is immaterial. What is needed is we need a leadership that functions in the interest of the majority of the Kenyan people, and it's all geared towards the betterment of this great country. The talks about going to Singapore and otherwise is an insult. We should not buy in the same. Thank you very much. Tukutane tutakapokutana katika masafa mengine tunapoendelea na kuchambua siasa zetu. Mungu awabariki. See you when you see me.